All right, so this is the Anything But Books tag. I was tagged by Dan over at Dan Martin Likes You. Apologies for how long it's taking me to get to this video, but I'm here now. So, without further ado, let's get started. Question 1. Name a cartoon that you love. Well, first off, I have to admit that I am bad at TVing. I've seen only one season of The Walking Dead. I've seen one episode of Sopranos, season 3 of Breaking Bad, 0 episodes of Game of Thrones, 2 episodes of Westworld. So I live in a TV cultural black hole, but I have seen every single episode at least twice of Rick and Morty. Now, do yourself a favor and never look up the origin of the show called Doc and Marty, based loosely on 2 badly drawn characters from the Back to the Future universe. It is the addition of Dan Harmon, he of Community fame, that turns it into the genius that is Rick and Morty. And if you want to go completely old school, Aqua Teen Hunger Force is a classic. That show always makes me laugh. Number 2, what is your favorite song right now? Well, I blame my daughter, who, as she puts it, is not emotionally ready for this album right now. It is Ed Sheeran, and it is the song Shape of You that I have on constant rotation right now. Number 3, what could you do for hours that isn't reading? Well, right now it's Overwatch, and it is a callback to the glory days when I used to play Call of Duty. Me and a bunch of friends would get together on a regular basis and have weekly, bi-weekly scrums. We had our own clan, we had our own server that we'd log into, and we would just dominate. I haven't played a lot of first-person shooters on the computer since then, so this is sort of a hesitant foray back, trying very hard not to get too involved with the game itself. Call of Duty certainly consumed a lot of hours, and we spent so much time on fields like Stalingrad, Newville, and Carrington. It got to the point that when I was in Vegas, I actually visited a gun range where I had the opportunity to try and fire off some of those World War II weapons. And so I got the chance to fire off a German MP44 as well as the American Thompson, which, exactly like in the video game, tended to carry up and to the right as you fired it. It was a little bizarre actually when we were there. While I was firing my gun, 2 stalls down, someone was firing off a Desert Eagle. It's a 50 caliber hand cannon, and every shot you could feel the compressions in your chest. So I looked over, and it was a large guy, 380 pounds, that was clearly enjoying this gun. And he turned to laugh with his buddies there in the stall, and his shirt rode up a little bit, exposing a swastika tattoo. I looked downrange to see what he was firing at. This target was the Asian brandishing a sword, holding a white woman hostage. So yeah, a lot of fun times. Number 4, what is something you love to do that your followers would be surprised by? Now, maybe love is too strong a word, but for the past 6 years, I like to get out while the weather is good, maybe 3-4 times a week. I will wake up at 5 in the morning and push out a nice and easy 5K. It's something that I've been doing for a long time, and I really enjoy the peace and quiet of the city at 5 in the morning. I'm not pushing for speed. I'm not training for a 10K, half marathon, or a marathon. It's just something I consistently like to get out and do. Number 5, what is your favorite unnecessarily specific thing to learn about? For me, it's poker. I've got well over a dozen different books on poker and poker theory, everything from Hansen to Gordon to Harrington. Harrington on Hold'em is my poker Bible. I've read it countless times. It's basic fundamentals, poker 101, but it has me thinking about my M and Q ratios. I also track all my online play so that I am monitoring my VPIP as well as my aggression factor. I'm not a super mathematical player. I'm not doing detailed hand analysis with every street, but it is something I enjoy, and I enjoy that rigor as far as the game goes. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not a great player at all. In Vegas, I won a couple tournaments, but I'm much more of a tight grinder. And in the neighborhood games that I play, all theory goes out the window. It's just a chance to drink and have fun, and it's not unusual for me to be the first player out. I just enjoy poker and poker theory. Number 6, what is something unusual you know how to do? Juggle. Ta-da! Number 7, name something you've made in the last year. So I've had the good fortune of working with a bunch of startups over the past decade. I'm a many hats marketing department of one, which means I run wide and shallow as opposed to narrow and deep. Over the past year, I've been responsible for designing product logos, software UI, icons, websites, collaterals, white papers, infographics. I've done video explainers and tutorials, webinars. I've written content for white papers, blog posts, editorials, and every day I'm creating something, which is actually kind of awesome. All right, number 8, what is your most recent personal project? All right, so there's a little bit of backstory for this. My wife's sister has lived on social assistance and in subsidized housing for all of her life. She has 2 kids. They're 13 months apart with 2 different dads. Our niece's father has passed away years ago. He was very young, but morbidly obese and died of a drug overdose. Our nephew's father has never been a part of his life and disappeared, refusing to pay child support as soon as he was born. Anyway, they live in the same city as us, and we see them several times a year for Christmases and birthdays. And one Thanksgiving, we were returning back to work when we were given a phone call. My wife's sister had passed away, and the kids had nowhere to go. So we took them in, and suddenly our small little trio, our daughter and only child, suddenly found herself the youngest of 3. And despite the fact that they grew up in this city with us, their economic situation was so different that it created this profound chasm. I think it would have been easier if they came from a different country and didn't speak English. Our nephew was on the autism spectrum, and they dealt with things differently. They were completely foreign to us. And so obviously it was a challenge, really, really difficult. I can't emphasize how different they were coming from that socioeconomic background. And there was a lot of adjustments that went on both sides, but everyone was great. The kids were super respectful. Our daughter integrated with them really, really well. But we had recently downsized to a small 3-bedroom house, and so we found ourselves suddenly in the basement, making sure the kids each had their own room. Anyway, we pushed them really, really hard, and it hasn't been easy for them either. But last year, we successfully launched our nephew off into college. He is taking computer programming and analyst and living in residence. He's doing really, really well. He's established some good habits that are holding him in good stead. Our niece, we just moved into our first apartment with our high school friend last month. She's been accepted at the university for anthropology in the fall and is just working at adulting and finding out, well, hey, the internet just doesn't appear as soon as you move in, and those ridiculously small things that you don't think you're going to need are going to become profoundly important when you realize you don't have them. Things like a plunger. And so it is back to being our little family unit with our daughter, who's also been accepted to university and is leaving us in the fall for us to be empty nesters. So our latest project has been reclaiming our upstairs. We painted all the bedrooms and moved ourselves back upstairs. It's been a little crazy, but I don't know. I'm excited to see what these kids can do for themselves in the coming years. Number 9, tell us something you think about often, maybe while staring out the window. Well, as a Canadian, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. If I'm staring out the window, generally I'm thinking is, what's with this weather? But in a general sense, what I think about is with 3 kids, leaving the home, suddenly finding myself an empty nester. I just can't help but wonder if we've armed these kids with enough information to adult on their own. We have a little bit of time left with our daughter before she goes off to university, and this could literally be the last time she ever lives in our house. I mean, she can go off to university, go to graduate studies, meet someone, get married, and that's it. And yeah, it's a little melancholy, but can't help but hope that we've at least armed all the kids with enough tools that they can get by in this world. All right, number 10, give us something that's your favorite, but make it something oddly specific. I love cool sheets. I love being the first into bed, getting underneath the covers and starfishing, and then snow angeling and stretching, looking for all the cool spots underneath pillows and the corners of the bed, just soaking up all that fresh, cool sheet feeling everywhere. I love that feeling. Number 11, say the first thing that pops in your head, Kung Fury. If you haven't seen Kung Fury yet, you need to go out. I was flabbergasted that there are people at our office that have yet to see this 30-minute masterpiece. It's on YouTube. Just go check it out. All right. Well, thanks to Dan over at Dan Martin Likes You for tagging me in this video. I want to tag Rinsey over at Rinsey Reads, Nicola over at Robotnik, and Emery over at Books Beauty Emery. Hopefully you guys get a chance to try this out. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you all a great week of reading, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.